I single-handedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to
unlicensed
therapy with Ari Mannis.
When I look at something, I can't just go, oh, that's pretty good. I got to go, oh, that could be better.
That's funny.
Change that.
That's funny. I think I'm good with saying, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm like, that's good enough. Like, I like to get away from situations. I'm just like, whatever. It's
Let's
good.
do it.
Let's go.
Let's knock it out.
Yeah. I'm done thinking about this.
Yeah, I need to get more like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can get pretty like pushy with people. Where you're like, okay, no, it's enough. We've already talked about all these stupid details. Like yesterday, I filmed. Me and some other comics were asked to kind of film a test show for this for this team to pitch to Fox. Like they had the Fox execs there, so they were just shooting the test show to get something. You know, it's not like it was a pilot or anything. Uh-huh. And the guys came in. Of course, they get very detail oriented, and it's just like, yeah, we'll
this is a test show.
Yeah, let's just go. Yeah, it's fine.
Let's do it, and then you figure that out for the real show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like you don't need to tell us everything. We're gonna do what we can, and then we'll run it a couple of times. How about that?
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, you can even stop us
there.
and tell us to say a line again. It doesn't have to feel like it's an actual written. Or like feel like it's a streamlined show.
I would be that executive that's saying, "Oh, we got to do this, and this," and everyone would be like, "Relax."
Yeah, like calm down. But you need that guy. Honestly, you need that. Every major project, whether it's movie, technology, needs that detail-oriented person. Like you need them.
Sometimes I think it takes away from my comedy because it makes me not funny for that moment. You know what I mean? You can't be funny.
And get caught up in the details.
So sometimes I'm like, relax and be funny.
Yeah, the performance really has to be
it's kind of like, even with this podcast, when I'm worrying about the camera and the audio recorder and booking the guests, that's why I'm trying to get to the point where I can just come in and be the host.
Yeah.
I need to get a producer.
Yeah.
Even though I know how to do it all myself, sometimes it's hard to get a producer because I'm like, why am I getting that? I can do it myself. But sometimes you shouldn't do it yourself.
I'm like that with certain things.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know the benefit of getting somebody.
Help.
So it's kind of like this. You have to think of it in this sense, is that you know how to do this. So you hire the person and you're like, look, I can do this myself.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you are here to take this off of me. Mm-hmm. And it's good for you to be like not controlling. But if they get stuck, it's like, okay, let's just knocked it out, got it done. Like that was a whole big thing about, Louis' deal, like how he was able to direct, film, write his own shows and stuff like that. This is the whole idea of he was like, I used to repair cameras as a 14-year-old. I used to be in the AV. I knew how to work around cameras, and that's how I got that kind of deal. You know, it's just I knew all the things to do. So when I was on set, I knew how to handle it if I needed to, you know? And it comes down to that. Spielberg is also kind of like that. This dude that was just obsessed with camera work and angles and this and that as a kid. Right. And then it all just worked out. So there was this website once where it was like letters from the past, right? And there was a note, a high school love letter that Slash wrote to his girlfriend at the time. He was 16, right? And the letter, it said, hey, I forgot what her name was. Hey, I'm upset that we didn't work out. It sucks, but whatever. It's cool. I get it. Maybe I play with my guitar too much. Maybe I'm too into it. I saw that you're dating Bobby. He's dope. He's a really good friend of mine, so that's awesome. And basically,
sounds
Slash,
like he had an amazingly level-headed attitude.
Yeah,
about a girl who broke up with him.
Very.
And started dating his friend, but
yeah.
I guess at the end of the day.
And he drew a little weed plant.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that idea of like this kid who was so like at that time, so many 16-year-olds are obsessed with like, I just want to get in somebody's pants. And
Yeah.
this guy, it was all guitar.
Well, he did like her though.
He did like her.
He was trying to get in her pants. He just liked his guitar a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question to see if which you like more, comedy or girls. You have to answer this openly
Okay.
and honestly.
I'll do my
well, you don't
best.
have to, but
I'll do my best.
I would take a dope show over seeing a girl, right? A new girl. I would take a dope show. But now let's say it's a dope show where you're friends with the producer and you know you could do it the next week. So you got offered a show at the Hollywood Improv main room, sold out.
Yeah.
But it's a weekly show and he goes, "Hey, you could do it next week."
And I just haven't. This girl's like, I want to
And I want
go
to
on
see
a
you
date
tonight.
today.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I got a show. You can come out with me, and then we'll go out afterwards.
Okay. So
I'd be
you're
like-
choosing the show.
You can come to the show. I was like, yeah, I got a show. I got to knock this out. Like, I wouldn't even think of calling the producer and asking him to push it at all.
But it's not a big. It's your best friend, and he runs the show every week. You could easily just be like, "Hey,
the
can
show.
I do it
I already
next week
scheduled the
instead?"
show.
All right,
I scheduled it. I told him I'd do it.
All right.
I have to stick to my word as much to the show as possible.
All right, you
That's
won.
one of the
Comedy.
hardest things of stand up I see with people is that they want to move things around. It's like, look, man, you agreed to it. You know, it's your job. Now, when it gets hard, I'll tell you the hardest decision
Okay.
is when I have said yes to a show and a better show comes along.
Oh, I always.
That's the toughest because then I've had that
If
situation where
it's
it's like
a
this guy.
significantly better show,
Yeah.
you cancel the first. They understand. You know what I mean? Most people who run
Dude,
shows are
I've had
comics.
like I would say about 5% of the time I've had people get very upset.
I've had a couple of people get upset. It also depends. Like, do they have you billed as a headliner? Are you canceling last minute? There's a lot of
I've done it
other
weeks in
factors,
advance.
and they still get upset.
Yeah.
Damn.
One guy was like, "This is the second time you've done this to me," and I was like, "Well," and I want to tell him, "Well, your show's not that important. I'm sorry, it just isn't." A long time ago, I forgot where I was talking with Brian Simpson. You know, I think he's a great comic,
Yeah, he is.
great dude,
He
man.
is.
And he asked me for advice, and I don't remember because I'll give advice and then I'll move on. Like I don't remember the conversation, but I think the person receiving advice remembers it more, right? Because I'll dole out advice like nothing. And he was like, he asked me, "How did you get on the road?" I think stuff like that. And I said yes until I could afford to say no. I said yes to every single gig. I just said yes, yes, yes. And here's the thing. When you say yes, because he was struggling with saying yes, because he was debating how good a show was, if he needed to do it, all that kind of stuff. People put a lot of factors.
Some people get a little lazy,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna lose money, and they think about it.
Exactly. And, I was like, you can't think about that. Just do it. Because the thing is that if you say no, that offer may never come again. Right? So I guess I had asked him to do Brea. Right? And he said no, he was doing something. He couldn't do it. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And he ran into me we've always been running into each other. Maybe about 2-3 years later, I asked him to do a show. He's like, "Man, I'm going to say yes because the last time I remember you telling me that I should say yes, and I said no to one of your gigs, and you never asked me." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, man, I'm sorry." It's just, and it's not because I didn't like the guy. It's just now I thought of other people to work with, and then I went to them instead.
At the Improv, I used to be the guy, or one of the guys, who they would call as a last minute fill-in,
Yeah.
type of thing. Hey, can you do a spot tonight?
Yeah.
Whatever the cold. Can you host tonight? Whatever it was. And there were 3 times in a row where I had, looking back, I had to say no. I had a show already booked that was better.
That's
So
tough,
it wasn't
bro.
regret, but I said no like 3 times in a row just because I was busy doing other comedy things, and I'm not that guy anymore.
It's tough,
I'm
man.
not the go-to
Yeah.
Fallout guy anymore. So it
Yep.
is. It sucks. It can be.
I'll tell you a story about, I'm not going to say his name because it's not my story to tell, but it's a story that it's interesting because it's such a, well, here it is. Okay. So there's this comic. We know him. You probably know him. And if you remind me, I'll tell you the name afterwards.
Okay.
He said that there was a moment in his career when he was hitting on all cylinders, right? And everyone kept telling him that he was going to be the next guy. And he said, and you know what my biggest mistake was? Is I believed him. So then projects came around, and Nickelodeon came around and asked me if I wanted to do a show, right? If I wanted to audition. My agent said, hey, Nickelodeon likes your stuff. They want to know if you want to audition for one of the kids' shows. He said, man, Nickelodeon, don't they like slime you? And it gets like, I really don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So then they called again and they said, okay, how about this? He doesn't have to audition, but at least just come in and read for the role. And we'll see if, we'll read with him with other actors. Not really an audition, just come in. Same thing. I don't know, man. They like to slime people. That was his big thing. He didn't want to get a mess. Then finally, the third time, they called again. They're like, he's got the part if he just does it. And he turned it down, and he said, never got a call like that ever again.
Damn.
And that was it. And it was his own ego of like, there's something
he
better.
He was actually half right, though, because he kept saying no, and they're like, then he didn't even have to audition because he said no. So he was like halfway right.
He just took it that one step
but then he
further
should have said yes.
On the third one. Yeah. It was that third time where I was like, okay. And then he said, and then I never got calls from them again. I didn't get any. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, too, you say yes to, let's say, a gig that wouldn't be worth doing on paper. Yeah. Or to most people, they'd say, oh, why are you driving to Phoenix for $50? It's not worth it. Or why are you driving to San Diego for $20? And a lot of the times they're right. You do it, and you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that, and it was a long waste of my night, and I lost money. But sometimes you do that, and then that person sees you at that show that books you for a different show, or the guy who's running that show that only pays you $20 then gets $1,000
They see the
show.
ambition, yeah.
And then, or they like you and you think of you for the next thing they're doing, which is better. So
I rarely have ever thought, and this is also, I had to stop thinking this way because there was a moment in my career when I did, man, I lost money on this gig. I just stopped thinking like that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, it's money that's going to be spent anyway.
Yeah.
Right? I'll give you an example of exactly what you're saying. So I started in Dallas. There was a comedy club opening up in Corpus, right? That's a 6 to 7 hour drive, depending on how fast you want to go. And it's on a Wednesday. My buddy and I, we were like, hey, you know what? Let's go check out the open mic down in Corpus. And we made a road trip of it. You know, it's usually we go to the Wednesday open mics in Dallas. So there's like 5 comedy clubs kind of in Dallas. So there's enough comedy there. Enough reason to never leave. Mm-hmm. And me and my buddy are like, let's go check it out. Yeah. Fuck it. Let's make it a road trip. We got in the car. We left like at 10 a.m. You know, we got to that club. We signed up for the open mic, did it. And the owners were so new to comedy because they didn't know anybody in Texas. They called me like 9 times to feature that year.
Because they saw you did great.
And they were like...
Now you're in, and they were a new comedy club. There's not a lot of comics in that area.
Yep.
Now you're the guy.
I was the guy, you know, and it was just like, because of that, I mean, that's 9 times feature, which is tough out of any comedy
9
club.
times is a lot for anywhere. Plus, you were newer into your comedy. It was a great opportunity for you.
It got me out, you know. It
You're
was like, all right.
for headliners.
And that I also met a lot of people that now I know in LA or that took me on the road. Like it was a good connection.
Who was someone you met in those 9?
It was
the biggest headliner.
The biggest one? Oh, I don't know about the biggest one.
For that little comedy club.
The biggest headline, I mean, you know, at that time it was like Jeff Garcia.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
So you opened for Jeff Garcia.
Jeff,
one
Manny
of the 9
Maldonado,
times.
you know.
And now those guys are around here.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, no, I've known them ever since. Yeah. And then there's another one, but I'm not going to name him because I got beef with that dude.
Oh, I didn't even know you had beef with people.
Like 2.
2 people only.
2 people. I really don't carry beef.
I'll say this. I mean, I don't know you that well, but every time I see you, you're so friendly and cool, chill. Yeah. That if you have beef with someone, in my head right now, it's their fault.
Well, these are people that notoriously have beef with people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go.
Yeah. It's the X factor. It's like, okay, I just happen to get it in your target. That's all that happened. Like I got in your way. Yeah. And now you have beef with me, but it's only probably 3 because honestly, nothing really bothers me. And it's funny because I've had moments with friends where we would get in a heated argument or whatever, and I'm a very chilled out guy. And one of my friends, he was like, I told him in the argument, I was like, I never have yelled at anybody ever until now. And he's like, really? That's funny because everyone that I know has yelled at me. And I was like, well,
There you go.
Exactly.
You just answered this argument.
Yeah. And he did not like that I pointed that out. But in my head, I was like, there you go. You got to fix it up, man.
Yeah.
Like you turn somebody who doesn't yell into someone that yells at you.
Have you always been the type of guy that doesn't yell, or did something
click? No. I just never really.
You've always been kind of.
It has to get to a high level of like you're pushing it, but rarely. And I remember the first time I yelled at somebody out of anger. I was probably 26, 27.
This guy or a different guy?
A different guy. The guy that I didn't want to mention earlier.
What'd you yell? What was the...
We were working on a project together. He was a headliner that took me on the road, right? And a headliner with money problems. And then he found out that I had a savings. So he started dipping into my savings, but with the promise of, don't worry, man, I'm going to get you back kind of thing.
And you were just like, sure, you can borrow money. Yeah.
I believed it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, man.
You're a
sure.
nice guy. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we worked on a project where for some reason, because he was the headliner, every time I was with him, when we would meet strangers, I all of a sudden became his errand boy. I became lesser than anybody he met. And in my head, I'm like, I'm supposed to be your boy. I'm your friend. Like, I'm the one traveling with you. I'm the one that put my life out here. I'm the one with the car. I'm the one that's lending you money. But every time we're around people, he would want a power trip and make it seem like I was his servant. Right?
So you're just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And I helped him write a reality show. He got hired to do this reality show. And I helped him write it, uncredited. And he took the side of writers that were hired off of Craigslist over me and didn't like ever have my back with things. And I finally just erupted on him because it came down to him being like, you know what, man, I don't think you're doing a good job and this and that. And I was just like, I've been living in this. I was living in Miami for 2 months.
Money. I was your errand boy.
And I was like, how do you not trust me when I am the guy that has driven you hours across the country? We did a road trip for 36 hours straight. I've basically had your life in my hands, and you're taking these people's words over mine because for some reason you're never going to hang out with this guy again.
Yeah.
And the other guy, that was it. Like, he came in, decided that I was the guy that he was going to focus his attention on, stirred up shit, and then left.
If he came in right now and apologized to you sincerely.
Sincerely?
If he sincerely apologized and said, I was an idiot, I made a mistake, would you forgive him? Would you ever work with him again?
No.
No, okay,
because
stay outside.
It's stay outside. No, because sincerely is tough. And I've given him many opportunities to have made amends.
Yeah,
and
didn't take him.
Didn't take
Too
him.
much pride.
Too much pride.
Or maybe he just genuinely doesn't think he's in the wrong.
No, and that's what I found out later. He started telling people, Nick's a bully. He's mean. And it's like, okay, yeah, anyone's going to believe that.
That's the crazy part is most of the arguments I get in, at the end of the day, it's like, I just want them to see my side of it, and they can't.
Yeah.
And they can't.
It's very hard for people to step out of their own. And I've had that discussion with people. I'm like, look, we both have different ethics, morals, and things like that. I see how you see it your way, but you say you can't see it at all my way. We just can't work together. That's the end of that,
You told me something that I found that I think about still sometimes.
Oh, I did?
When I'm in a down point in my comedy career. It was like a motivating thing. And it was, I'm going to remind you of it and then you say it because it was your thing.
Okay.
But it was, was it Last Comic Standing that you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did Last Comic Standing. And that same year you auditioned for a different competition show and didn't get it.
Well, I mean, I remember it was the TBS Marlon Wayans show where they Bring the Funny. Not Bring the Funny. That's the one that's currently on. Yeah. But whatever it was, right? And I remember, like, yeah, I auditioned for Last Comic Standing. I went in for that one. That one was probably prior to Last Comic Standing, that audition, because I was really hurt by that one, because we had a friend on the inside who told us the notes that they had about us. And the note that they had on me was, he's not Mexican enough. And it's funny because the other friend that auditioned alongside me, they were like, he's too Mexican for us, you know? So they were casting us based on what part we were going to play and not our stand-up. Right? So they wanted a Latino guy, but I was not Mexican. That hurt. Because in my head, I was like, well, that's the point. You know, the point is to have a comic that's a comic. Right. Not someone that's playing into your stereotype.
Right. He happens to be Hispanic descent, but that's not...
Funny's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And it sucks when you kind of know that... Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that hurt. Because I had kept hearing that. Throughout my career, the Mexican-Latino issue has been a hurdle that has upset me a lot. Like, I've been denied gigs because I remember there was one, it was a Latino headliner who had it written in his contract, he didn't want to work with Mexican comics. And the club...
So in that case, you were too Mexican.
Yeah, just because I was.
Just because you're Mexican, yeah.
Yes, and it hurt me because with the booker, it's like, but you know my act. Like, my act doesn't say anything.
But it's not the booker's fault. It's really the headliner's fault. The booker's just trying to make the headliner happy.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's what I figured out.
Yeah.
In my head, like, once again, stepping back and not being hurt, you get hurt initially. Because it's like, but
the
I'm
booker
funny.
likes you. He was going to use you.
Yeah. You get hurt initially, but then you step back and you're like, okay, I see what happened. It's a Latino act. And he actually is not heavy Latino. He's not at all. So when you know this business, you know that if you are an ethnic act, the minute you come into town, they immediately try to set your line up with other ethnic people, almost similar to yours, right? And then they try to bill it, especially when you're unknown, they bill it as the ethnic weekend. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like, he is a guy that has had to deal with Cinco de Mayo weekend, right? And he's not that, which is a disappointment to the crowd when they were already in the mindset of, oh, this is going to be, you know, a Latino heavy show. And then he's not as Latino as they want him to be. So I'm sure he put that in his rider, as in, like, I don't want to follow heavy Latino acts because I'm not, because it just derails my show. It's hard for me to get the crowd onto my side. Yeah. Right? And that happens. So I understood that. Right? And then I looked with the booker, I was like, you have to follow the contract. It sucks that you didn't take my material in consideration and me that you know personally, but whatever, you know? Right. And I stepped away from it. I was like, all right, I get it. You know?
I've been asked to do a couple Jewish shows. Yeah. And that's one of the few times that I have said no to shows because...
It hits you a little bit, right?
I don't talk about that in my act at all, and I don't want to be labeled as that. I don't want to be on a poster that's like Jewish comedy. I don't know. Maybe that's my own insecurity with me. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't want to be.
Well, I denied a lot of the Latino shows. Yeah. Yeah, because of that. Especially when it was, if it was a friend, I would do it. A club I loved, I would do it. But when it was a club that never worked me, only on until then I would say no. Right. Because I'm like, you're just being racist.
That's true.
Like, you don't work me any other weekend.
Yeah. Well, look at my act. That's not the show I should be on.
Exactly. You know of me. You've seen me, but you only choose to give me this ethnic show that when it pops up once a year. It's like, nah, we're good. Yeah. I don't need your stage time.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah. It happens, man. It sucks. It's a weird part of the business that claims to be liberal and progressive, but it's not. It's showbiz. You know, we're a step above showgirls in Vegas. How do you look? Do you have a nice ass? It's just how it is. Yeah, you know?
That's true. You auditioned for this show.
Yeah, I don't remember the advice. I told him like,
well, it wasn't advice. It was just kind of this. You're at this low point where I didn't even hear that. I didn't even hear that side of it when you told me about it. That they said that you weren't Mexican enough. Yeah. But you did that. You didn't get it. You're feeling down, and then you got like the biggest stand-up show.
Yeah, man. And I remember, so alongside Last Comic, I tried out for AGT that year, And something inside me just kept saying, you're going to end up on Last Comic Standing. That's where you belong, right? And that similar thing happened with The Tonight Show, where in my heart, I knew that these were the shows that were the ones I was going to be on. Like, I could submit to the others, but the others I just don't match. This one is the one I match. And I went into audition for AGT. And not, well, the AGT was 90 seconds. I fucking just did not do good. Yeah, I was so quick. You know, I was all over the place.
Yeah, you're rushing because you're like 90 seconds.
Exactly.
No comic is used to doing 90 seconds.
What do you say?
You do Kill Tony every week or something.
Exactly. You know, but even then it's like, what do you want to see? You're performing to 3 producers, you know, or one time it was just 1 producer. So it's like, what do I do as an act?
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't get that. Then Last Comic was auditioned around the same time. And I remember going in, they gave us 4 minutes, which I was like, great. And I started my act. I think Wanda was in there because she was checking out everything and the other producers. And I had them going. Now, it was only females in the room, right? And my last bit is about girls going out. And it's very progressive females, very in business females, you know, so they have power. And a lot of women in power have to be careful of what is being said to them around them because they know how shitty this business can be towards females.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they felt it. And I've talked to a lot of women in power, and it is that sense of like there's that fine line for them where people are ready to throw stones at them.
Right.
With whatever they say, and it could be a simple fucking thing, and it's like, down with you, burn the witch immediately. You know what I'm saying? So I started doing my female bit, and then the laughs got quieter. But I was like, well, I'm in it.
You hit some trigger words in there.
Yeah, but I was like, all right, so let me just knock this out,
Yeah.
this and that. And Wanda, I believe, asked me, she's like, so you have a lot of jokes about women. Is there a reason for that? And I was like, well, you know, I have a perspective that this and that. It was, and I didn't do anything bashing him. If you see my material, I'm never bashing him.
Yeah.
She's like, did you grow up in a household full of women? And it was the first time that I clicked. I was like, I have 2 sisters. My mom. Oh yeah, I did basically. Like, yeah, I'm right in the middle of two women. Yeah. My older and younger sister, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I guess that's why I'm more attuned to it, right? And it never clicked before, but I felt like I bombed, right? I was like, fuck. Well, they asked me questions. We left. They asked me about colleges. I was like, okay. And as I was walking out the door, the lady that opened the door for me, who was also another person on the team, was like, man, you were wrong for that. And I was like, she got it. She got the jokes, you know? She's like, okay, it was great. And I walked away feeling like I'm gonna get this.
Just because that one.
Because of that one, the way she said it, the way it was like, okay, she approved of it.
Okay,
she thought it was funny.
And
all right,
you did.
good.
Yeah,
I got it, man. Yeah. I was amazed. I was like, perfect. You know.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that they didn't see when you perform in front of casting people, it does not compare to the live show, especially if you're a performer.
Oh, it's the worst.
Exactly.
It's like not even just casting people. There's a couple shows around town that are just very industry heavy. There are a bunch of assistants go to it, you know?
I've done those.
And even those shows, you go to there and
yeah,
there's just a different mentality because they're not there to laugh. They're there to scout talent, and they're there to
and also to
discover people and do write-ups of the show. So they're there almost reviewing it in their head. Yeah. They're a common reviewer, and then
if they're junior agents or assistants, it's even worse because they've spent the whole morning in an office being reminded that they're junior assistants and agents, right? Or junior agents and assistants. So now this is their power trip.
There's that. They're probably watching comedy all day on YouTube. Yep. They're snobs. They're comedy snobs.
Yeah.
And maybe justifiably so, but regardless, they're not the best audience.
Some are really good and tuned. Some are just great business people. You know,
it's a weird time. It's also a weird time with just diversity, like you said. I did this one show. It's actually my brother's show. My brother runs a show in a backyard, and this drunk assistant comes in halfway through the show. She's wasted. She gets there for the last two comics, who happen to be male comics, and then the show ends, and she comes to my brother. She goes, "That was a lot of fun. You should think about like getting more women on the show." And my brother's like, "Well, there were two women on the show." And she goes, "Oh yeah, maybe just some more." Like, you didn't even watch the show.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, if you watched the whole show and maybe didn't see any women, then say something. But
Yeah, exactly.
it's just,
That's how it is, though, man.
and she works in the business.
Yep.
She works in, and she's one of the gatekeepers. So it was just,
It sometimes it could be upsetting when you know the gatekeepers. You know, there's some that are really in tune. I always find the best gatekeepers are the ones that completely love the role they play and have accepted the role they play, and they don't dip their toes into your pool. You know what I'm saying?
oh, that's interesting.
Like-
So what you're saying, for example, a comedy producer that doesn't do stand-up is gonna
And
be a
doesn't
better
give.
producer.
He's just like, I know
Yeah.
I know how to produce this.
Yeah.
You know, like I got a real good friend of mine who owns the comedy clubs in Dallas, and we asked him. He's like, "So, who's your favorite stand-up, or what do you think about stand-up?" And he was like, "Honestly, man, I don't even know why people come show up. I don't know why people come out to go to comedy clubs. I'm happy they do. It's kept me in business for years. I'm the business guy, you know." I mean, I like a whole bunch of you guys, but I really don't know what the attraction of comedy is, you know.
There it
And
is.
it's it. There it is.
That's
He's
lit.
like, I'm the one that knows how to set up the lights, get the stage right, get the food going, set up
It
this
is
business.
true. Once you're in, even any role in comedy, once you've been doing enough, you don't watch comedy like a fan anymore.
Nah.
Once you watch 100 shows, you could be the owner of the club. You may walk in, watch for 2 minutes, but you're not
Yeah.
sitting down watching the
You
full
watch
show.
your favorites,
Yeah.
and that's it. You know, or somebody that you're like, this is somebody I should watch. Let me try this out. You know,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could go back and
enjoy it.
enjoy it, but
Well-
now I can't. Now I analyze it.
Do you really?
Yeah, you don't. If you sit in a comedy show and watch a comedian,
guess I do.
I could still say that guy's good,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, oh, I see what he did there.
I analyze
Oh, I
it, but then there's certain people that I
can let it go for.
let it go for.
Yeah, your
There's certain that I'm
favorites.
like, go for it. Well, like Eddie Pepitone was performing at the lab, and I was on after him, and I'd never seen him live at all. I saw his documentary, right, and I was like, oh, let's just watch, and I just enjoyed it, because with a guy like him, there is no structure to analyze,
Right.
but he has it. He has his structure.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you can break it down. But in the ideas of stand-up, Eddie's Eddie.
Right. It does make it easier when you're watching someone and you go, oh, I'm never going to do anything like that.
Yes. And
You
you're
go,
like, I'm not even going to
I'm just going to
analyze
appreciate this because I'm never going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he would just hit on certain things. You're like, man, this guy just knows his world. And he knows how to enhance it comedically on stage. And it's interesting. It was really fun to watch. But it's those guys that take me out of it.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of comedy talk.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
What?
Is this what you usually do?
I don't know. No, it's just random what happens.
Okay, all right.
You never know, but I'm here to help you.
I know,
With your
right?
life.
That's what I heard.
I'm here to fix your life because you don't know this about me, but I'm actually an expert in everything.
Okay,
And
all right,
I could save you
all right. Okay.
religiously, spiritually, mentally, physically. I'm a hero.
Yeah, all right. I believe it.
What issues do you got
I saw
going
how
on
much
in
you
your
set up
life?
this garage. I'm like, this guy saves things.
One time I saw a bird
Yeah.
and I could see that it was in pain. And so I stepped on its head and saved it from the pain
That's nice of you.
and just put it out,
Put it out of
its
misery.
No,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never done that.
Yeah. Mercy kill.
Mercy.
Is that something you think you could do?
Kill a bird?
Do a mercy kill for a bird, animal.
I think it depends on the animal. I think I could, in the situation. For example, if I'm in a car and I saw a squirrel get run over, maybe I'll rerun over it just to make sure it doesn't suffer. But
Okay.
if I had to like go up to it and like break its neck with my hands, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, it'd be tough. That would be tough.
Or if I had a gun, could I shoot an animal to put it out of its misery? Yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Or could I go up to it with a knife and stab it to death? No, I don't think I could do
It'd
that.
be tough.
Yeah.
I think I could only do it if, say, there was another person there who couldn't do it.
Oh, so you had to like step it up for the good of the. That's so you're saying you'll do it, but you'll see if anyone else can do it first.
Yes.
Can you do this?
Or,
No,
or
shit,
if it's
I guess
somebody
I'm gonna
that's
have to
like,
do it.
I just can't, but I don't want them in pain. It's like, God damn it.
I guess I'll do it.
I'll do it. Give
That's
me
true.
the
It
fucking
changes
knife.
things. Like, is there a pretty girl around that, I got to be the man in front of? That might make
It's
it
like,
so I do it.
Here you go. It's just like, it would be tough. Yeah.
Okay, so issues in your
But with
life.
myself, I'd just abandon.
You just let it.
I'd be like, I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna let myself.
I really don't want you to be in this misery, but I can't.
I can't do it.
I can't do this.
Yeah, I'm too big of a pussy to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not suicidal, but if I was, I wouldn't be able to do it.
How many? Okay, let me ask you this, because I'm not suicidal either, but suicidal thoughts constantly plague my mind.
Isn't that kind of being suicidal?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I
Like,
don't know.
Have you thought about how you would kill yourself if you did?
I've put myself in scenarios, but I don't know if I'm just being. I don't know if that's just
You
thinking.
don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I've never been like, I need to. It's more of like, I have those moments where I'm like, yeah, I could be done with it right now. It's fine. Or if I get to this age, I'll just off myself or whatever, right? Or you know what? Fuck it. If I just off myself today, whatever. You know what? I got to finish this video. I can't do it. Right? But it does pop up in my head a good amount. Not constantly, but a good amount. But my thing is, I don't know if that makes me suicidal, or if that's just
I don't know.
If people have that, they have those thoughts.
I don't have thoughts like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that makes you suicidal, but it's still not. I don't think it's that normal to think all the time. I could just kill myself right now, and it wouldn't matter.
I think it quite a bit,
Yeah, man, you are a little suicidal.
and it's very much of like, if it was just done, it's done. And there's times where I'm like I've gotten to this place where if I can go a day without feeling emotions, it's a great day. I don't
a day
like
without feeling negative emotions. You mean?
no emotions,
just emotions. You rather be numb.
just nothing right now.
Oh, you should. I could easily put a fix to that. Just
Yeah.
take antidepressants.
Oh, I don't want
Those
to.
things numb you.
Well,
right
that's
up.
the thing is that I don't want to. I think it, but I don't want to actually chemically enhance myself to get there.
Got
Although
it.
I did take kratom before I came over.
I don't even know what kratom. That's like a natural
Yeah,
antidepressant.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, kind of. So maybe I do kind of stay a little medicated.
Another way to stay numb, to masturbate a lot.
You know what? I have a superstition about masturbation.
What is it?
It's bad luck. To every time that look, I'm going to say this, and this is going to ruin masturbation for people. Every time that I have masturbated, I notice that something terrible, something bad, something unlucky happens.
That's awful.
Like flat tire, tickets.
Oh,
things
so
like
you're saying just like a karma thing in the universe happens.
And I
Yeah.
noticed it like and it's very rare that I do it. And there's those times when you get a little pent up, right? But I have to tell myself I am willing to ruin the next day for something. I'm going to get some bad news. Something's going to happen.
Hey, fair enough. That happens. I mean, I was going to say you hear about boxers, professional fighters, and there's two camps in those things. Some people don't masturbate before a fight. They said that takes off their energy. They need that extra juice, that power.
Yeah.
Hold in that thing. And then some people do the opposite, where they masturbate before every fight.
And they just get ready
They
to
go there loose.
I don't know, man. When I started noticing it, and I didn't know if it was guilt, I didn't know if it was actual spirituality, karma, whatever. It's just like it happens so often, and I guess I kept focusing on it happening so often. I was like, this is not something wrong has happened. So
I
just
think
need
another way to get yourself to be kind of numb to the planet and not have any emotions, positive or negative, is to put yourself through something very extreme and traumatic, and that way when you're going through regular life, it just feels like nothing.
I guess so, right?
So maybe like, okay, you're a straight male from my perspective, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any gayness in you?
No.
So maybe go to a gay bar and have gay sex.
And then
It's going to be traumatic. You're going to
Yeah.
have a bad time, most likely.
yeah,
And then when you're going through regular life,
be the bottom.
be the bottom.
Yeah.
And then after that, nothing's going to phase you.
But here's the thing. Okay, so I have thought of scenarios like that, right? And then I have imagined how many times. I mean, I already told you, suicide pops up in my head.
Yeah.
Random thoughts pop up in my head.
Yeah.
Comedy pops up in my head.
Yeah.
Situations. Look, I would love to not go through a day without emotions, but what I really mean is I don't like to attach emotions to everything in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if I ever did anything gay, that I could not go a day from that point on without analyzing it and thinking
Yeah.
about
So
it.
at that point, you're analyzing that instead of the suicidal thoughts. Now you're analyzing your
Okay.
gay thoughts. See?
And then I will go to to Pinkberry and I'll be like, man, I remember when I did that gay thing.
Yeah. And now now you're not thinking, how should I kill myself? You're thinking, am I gay?
A girl almost convinced me to, man. I
Really?
dated this girl who was she really kind of liked, the idea of boys kissing boys and stuff like that.
That is weird.
Yeah. Some girls
I
are into
guess.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess we're into it with girls, so it's
Yep.
not that weird. But
she was like my first girlfriend that I was in love with, and she wanted me. We talked about it. She was like, I'd like to see you do something sexually with a dude, like go down on him or something like that. And I was so in love in my head. I was like, well, just set
that's
it up.
what she wants.
Just make sure he's good looking, and doesn't stink.
Could you imagine if you did that?
That's the thing.
Would have fucked you up.
It'll pop in my head every now and then because, of course, that relationship didn't last.
No.
But it'll pop up in my head like, what if I actually went through it? Like, I just said it, but it doesn't mean that I
You
took
know
the
what's
steps.
It's interesting. When I talk to you, you seem like a guy who would be married with a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You have the demeanor of a married guy,
Well, I guess that would make sense.
but you're not.
Yeah. I have a problem with willing to please.
You are willing to please. Or you're not willing.
I'm
to please?
willing to please.
Wouldn't that be another good quality in a husband?
In a husband, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially when
You're a nice guy. You've had a couple girlfriends. I don't know. I just thought you'd be married by now. Would you say you're not
Stand-up.
married because of stand up? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
stand up, and also I didn't come from a bad household at all, but there wasn't a happy marriage. It was like friends.
So you're a little scared of that.
Not
happening
even
to
scared.
you.
I just never saw a marriage play out in front of me as a thing. Like it didn't play out as a normal, so it never became a thing where I was like, oh, I want that for myself. I didn't even know that, like I've had problems with expressing love and things like that. And I figured out it's because of that, my parents were together but not together. My dad slept in a separate room, He had his own
Weird.
room. My mom had her own room.
That's strange. Why they even stay married? Were they religious?
The kids.
Just for you guys.
Yeah,
I
pretty
guess
much.
That's nice to know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess that's selfless.
I
of
mean,
them.
I don't know really what it came down to for them. Kids, money, I don't know exactly, but my dad
They were almost roommates.
pretty much.
Yeah. But they
Yeah.
didn't see other people. Or if they
no.
did, they kept it away from you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, if they did, they kept it away. I've never seen my dad ever date anybody else.
Interesting.
I don't know any other romantic partners he's been with, never met him. So he's kept that very quiet. My mom remarried, but that's the only one that I know of, So yeah, it was very bubble,
Yeah, you went through a little bubble. Okay, here's a question for you. You've been doing comedy how long?
Since 2005, 2006.
So
About
that's
14, 13 years.
13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Decent amount of time. Done a lot of things.
Yeah.
What of all the things in comedy is your biggest regret or something you wish you could go back in time and redo, whether that be an audition, a role you took, a job you took,
Fuck, man.
an audition you messed up? Like, what's something where you're
There's
like,
quite a few.
I wish I got, but one thing that you kind of, that maybe every time you think of it, you go, man, I wish I could do that over, or not do that, or redo
Or not
that.
do that?
Anything. Just
Maybe
kind
there's
of
more not do that than anything.
either something you wish you didn't do, something you wish you could redo, like an audition or a set. Any moment in your life where you're
I
like,
wish
man,
I
fucked
wouldn't.
that up.
I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I wouldn't have signed up with my first management company,
How come?
because I saw them differently. I wish I would have asked more about what they saw from me as a bigger management company. And the problem is that a bigger management company is kind of like an agency. They just got tons of clients, and they're gonna push their list in front of people, and the people get to pick and choose who they want. Whereas a smaller management, they only got a few, so they're going to push the client they want to push. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, you are the one that we're pushing for this. I went with them because I knew everything about their brand was stand-up. And I was like, that's what I'm great at. And that's what I want somebody to focus on. What I didn't realize is that their focus was trying to replicate 3 Arts to be a production management thing. They wanted to get into the film, TV side, which I get it. There's money there.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have had at that time and then honestly, even more than that, because they were good, but whatever. Even more
And that
than
was
that,
1 year?
3 years.
That was 3 years. Okay.
Yeah. And they even told me, man, like my manager, when he dropped me, he called me. He's like, I feel like you're dying on the vine. I'm not giving you enough attention. And I felt it, and it hurt, because it was like, here I am getting a lot of gigs. I'm a worker. You put me in something, I do it.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten a corporate gig where I got paid $6,000 to do 10 minutes. So it's not like I wasn't making money.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't making millions, but how many
Right,
people
but you're
are?
doing okay.
Yeah, and it's like, how many people do you know could do this corporate gig? And colleges and regular stand-up. And so I felt like I'm a utility player. How can you not see
Yeah.
that? And I just guess I'm not, because I'm not a TV star. I'm not enough of a character. I also denied something that they wanted me to do, and that put me in a bad light with the main people.
Got
Right?
it.
But I still don't regret that. I'm
What did
happy
you
I didn't do
deny?
it. Shooting a special for a TV channel that I knew was dissolving.
Oh, I'm surprised. But you were just like, I'll wait for something. You were
I
in
knew
your
it
head.
was-
You said,
I
I'm going to
knew
wait
that-
for something that isn't dissolving.
Yes.
But still, you turned down the paycheck of doing it.
Yes. I turned it down because I'm
All right
like,
now.
look, I know that this network is dissolving. I've heard it. I don't know why you guys are pitching us these specials, and they never had a plan for what's going to happen with it.
Right. The chicken disappeared. Now all that material's burned and no one's going to
Yeah.
see it.
Are you just going to hold on to it? Which they're notorious for doing. Holding on to it until the person pops, and then all of a sudden, now you have a 5-year-old special.
Right.
That's like, well, why'd you put that out now? You pop now, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things, and they were selling me on the wrong ideas. It was like they sold me on, it's going to be filmed in the theater where Carlin filmed a special. I was like, I don't care about that. I don't care where it's filmed.
Yeah. I just want it to be good.
Yeah. Not only do I want to be good, I want to be presented properly, and I also wanted to have a good push. That's what you sell me on.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's just going to build my fan base.
Exactly. Is it good for me? So I'm happy I said no to that. And then even beyond that, I wish I would have taken acting lessons.
Interesting.
Right when I got to LA.
How come? Explain to me that one.
Because I I wish I would have been because then I won that holding deal. Like I came into LA 2009. I won that holding deal like 2013, 14.
Okay.
And there was like a lot
That
of
was
auditions.
Last Comic Standing?
No, the Stand Up NBC. It was
Stand
after
Up
Last
NBC.
Comic Standing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kept pushing acting away because I'm like, I'm a stand-up, whatever, right?
So you're saying you got a bunch of auditions,
and I was,
and you weren't good in those auditions.
No.
Did you take an acting class then when you got
Yeah,
the
I
auditions?
did.
But
there was
you didn't have enough. Prep
didn't have
time.
enough. Well, because it was like huge parts,
Right?
Because it was like a holding deal. So they were sending me, you're gonna act opposite Gary Sinise in a UCSI. Like, okay, well, I can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want one line, but I wasn't even good at one line, right? So I wish when I came here, I would have played the game in the sense of I should have taken acting classes.
And then you would have been ready when you had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a hard thing to predict, and
it is.
Who knows?
And then I just told myself, well, no, you're a stand-up. Just be a stand-up, you know? But then you have to, it's this
Do you take
career.
acting classes now or no?
I haven't in a bit. I should. I just haven't, you know? It's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know? It is what it is.
Dude, acting classes, it's like you only have time for so much.
Yeah.
And
Well, you have to want to be an actor.
yeah, that's the thing.
You're going up
Acting is
against people
such
that want to be an actor. And it's kind of like improv classes. I took UCB for 3 years, or the 3 levels.
Uh-huh.
And by the 3rd level, I was like, yeah, I'm not an improv
Yeah, this
guy.
isn't what I like to do.
I don't come up with characters. I don't ever come to these jams, ever. I only do it when it's required of me. And this is a waste of money. And I just have to accept that I just don't fit in this world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. But that's also hard to do because you're told, hey, get it all on your resume to try. And, you know, you do it, but at what benefit?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that's why it's like you say you wish you took acting classes. Well, I guess because you had that opportunity.
Yeah, I wish I would have.
Maybe you didn't capitalize
that one
on.
at least. It's like, okay, that one, because improv is, improv to me is an art.
But if you didn't get that holding deal, then you probably would have been like, oh yeah, why would I take acting classes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So
I should have.
it's give and take. Who knows?
It is what it is, man.
I'm going to play a couple voicemails from people.
Oh, no.
And these are people who I know most of them.
Oh, yeah?
And usually I don't, but I ran out of fan callers. I ran out of listener callers. So if you're listening to this, please send in asking for advice to ari@arimannis.com. Please send in your tapes. But I ran out of those, so we're going to take a couple calls from people I know who are asking for help.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so this one is from...
Hey, Ari. I want some advice. My name's Patrick, and I'm getting into comedy, and I just wanted to know if I should do open mics or just jump into it and do a show in the main room at the Comedy Store my first time. I'm kind of a ballsy guy, and, you know, I'm up for a challenge. You know, I see other
This is my
guys doing
first
it. I
time
can do it. What do you think? Thanks.
What do you think Patrick should do?
Just go straight up to the main. I think we've all done that.
Everyone thinks
I'll say-
thinks they're ready before they're ready, right?
Yeah, wait.
You meet a new comic, they're like, how do I
immediately
on TV?
get signed?
How do I
Yeah.
get on TV?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, you work on getting 5 great minutes that you're proud of.
But they don't even understand that.
No.
You don't even know what that is when you first get in. I think, honestly, either way, he should definitely do open mics. Either way, you're gonna have to do them, bro. You're gonna have to get in that fucking.
Right.
You can go do the main
Think about
room
this.
first time.
There's a few people who don't do open mics, people who are famous before they started stand-up, so they never have to do them. Like,
yeah.
I won't even say names, but someone who's a TV star and then
Jeremy
jumps in a
Piven.
stand. Jeremy Piven
I'm sure
probably
he never did
has done
open
open
mic.
mic.
Yeah.
But watch their stand-up. I'm not even saying they're necessarily bad, but they're never going to be great.
Well, yeah. You know.
Like, look at John Lovitz. He's another one.
Yeah.
He started stand-up after he did Saturday Night Live and was in movies.
Yeah.
I watched him. He's fine. The crowd will laugh at him.
Yeah.
But he's never going to be like, holy shit, did you hear that joke John Lovitz does about so-and-so?
You have to.
There's never going to be that.
The benefit of beginning as a stand-up is you learn how You have to learn how to make an audience of strangers laugh based on nothing about you. They're not there to see you. They don't fucking care about you. They don't know what you're like. So it's like I have to figure out a way to make all these strangers love me. Whereas when you're a celebrity, they already love you.
Yeah.
And that's a tough one.
Or going up on a show where they're here to see a different celebrity. They're not even there. It's not only you have to get them to love you, but they're like, bring on the next guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's their initial feeling.
Yeah. So that's the fight of the stand-up, but that's what makes us great. If you really fight it, is because you're like, no, I can make this crowd laugh. I have no problem. I mean, Hicks started at 15 telling jokes about his parents and his principal and homework. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He knew how to make people laugh. With this guy, it's like, bro, go do whichever. Because honestly, that's night one.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you do a sold out main room and bomb.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be doing hundreds of those.
Night one, bro.
Okay, this is from Stephen Fury.
Hey, Ari, Steve Fury, your buddy. Got a problem. You're the only guy I can come to. So I've been dating a girl now for 9 months, and it's going great. We've never fought one time. We get along. But I would love to have sex with other people. Do I break up with her? Do I cheat on her? Because I feel like cheating on her, the worst thing that happens is we break up, and if I don't get caught, then we just keep dating. All right. Please help me, Ari.
What a bad guy.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, it's kind of like this. You have to decide in that moment, am I okay with ruining this person's emotions, right? And, I mean, I've been in that situation where...
No one wants to get cheated on.
Nobody wants to get cheated on. I would say this,
Break up with her.
Break up with her.
If you're even having the thoughts, do I break up with her?
100% break up with her.
Do I cheat on her?
Because you want to fuck other people.
The fact that if you want to fuck other people, listen, everyone wants to fuck other people.
Because if she asked the same thing, what would you say?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If she was like, hey, so you want an open relationship? And I had a friend do that, where he approached his girl. Both sides. I'll say this. I've heard both situations from both sides. I had a friend who, with his girl, decided to do an open relationship, and all he was aggravated and angry the whole time because his girl was out there getting fucked, and it wasn't as easy.
Who gets action easier?
Yeah.
If a guy and a girl go out there and are allowed to hook up with other people, that girl can get it whenever she wants.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. So I heard the flip side where the girl told the guy, look, I'm not good with monogamy. I want to have an open relationship. And the guy's like, sure. And he went out and kept fucking. And she was like, and now I feel weird because, I gave him this pass and he's good.
He's doing it.
And he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. So I'd say either break up with her or discuss with her an open relationship. Those are the two options.
You got to find the person that
because I have seen people do it successfully too.
Yeah,
it's
that's the
rare.
thing. You both have to agree.
Yeah,
you both have to be into it
and confident.
Yeah.
To me, you have to be so confident to handle an open relationship because I get the desire of wanting to be with other people. But to hear about your girlfriend, the girl you love, going out there and being with someone else, I would get jealous. I wouldn't be able to control it.
Oh, it would destroy me.
Doesn't matter how. Even if I mentally go, I understand. It's okay. I would do the same thing. It's hard. I can't.
Yeah, it definitely.
Too jealous.
It hits, and you're like, because it feels like there's just a difference as a man because it's like, well,
why am I not good enough?
No, it's almost like, well, but my dick's going in somebody else. Someone's dick is going into you. Like, that's the way a man thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference, okay?
Right. I dish, I don't take.
Yeah, you're open to receiving, but I'm just giving, So it's different. Yeah, so it's...
Yeah, I'm too sensitive to handle that. But yeah, Steve, I think you should break up with her most likely.
Yeah.
It's probably the most, because everyone has the desire to be with someone else, but to make a call about it and to think about it that much where you're debating on what to do. If you're debating whether or not to break up with a girl, you probably just want to break up with a girl.
I mean, exactly. It does come down to that, and it's funny because I've been the dog, you know, like I've been the guy that
Makes mistakes.
yeah, and
Yeah, I think most people have.
but I also justified it at every point, and the one girl that I really was like not with, but with, I justified in my head because I was like, well, I never gave her a pet name. I never told her I loved her. I never actually asked her to be my girlfriend. We never officially said we were dating. She
How
just
long
kept
had you been
staying
dating?
We had been together for, we had, the entire relationship was 5 years.
Holy so this is 4 years in, you go, well, I never said she was my girlfriend.
This is from day one.
Oh, day one. Wow.
Day one, I'd never said she was my girlfriend. I never this, because I was just getting on TV and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just getting attention. It's
Yeah.
the first time that I'm really feeling cute, I guess.
Yeah.
And this girl was just attached to me, you know? And I was like, I never gave, but everyone's like, but you guys are dating, all right? You just have to accept it. I'm like, no, I never gave her a pet name. I never called her baby.
Like, you've been together for 4 years.
I was like, but we're not together. But she lives with you, but we're not together.
She's my roommate and we hook up.
Yeah, and I pay for the rent all and everything else, but we never, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would just send her,
Well, you
I would
live and
send her
learn
back
from
to her home when I would want to hook up with somebody else.
And she would just take it?
She didn't know at first, but then there was a couple of times she caught wind of it, or kind of knew.
And then that ended.
Well, no,
No?
the first time she
forgave you?
just, yeah.
Or did she never even, it wasn't even a thing where you're like, I'm not going to stop? Or
It was just like, this is me.
And she was like, okay.
She dealt with it. I mean, I don't know. She would be somebody that you'd have to talk to figure out how she
Damn.
got through it. You know?
So why did it finally end then?
She found somebody else.
Got it.
And I think that was it. And that's always was my fear. My fear dating her the whole time, this is why I never committed to her, was I felt like she was just trying to find a place to get comfortable. Like, yes, she was in love with me. But aside from that, she really just wanted to leave her parents' house.
Got it.
And that's how I felt. I was like, it feels
yeah,
like...
it didn't feel like it was all for you guys. It was more just she's figuring her life out. I'm figuring my life out.
Yeah, and I just happen to be... I have no problem.
I'm a nice guy. I have a nice apartment. She comes.
I'm a funny dude, you know,
Yeah.
so I get it. But that's also what hindered it. And I have that problem sometimes where I'm like, why are you really in this? You know? Like, are you in this because of comfort? Are you in this because of codependency? Or are you in it because of me?
Yeah. That's kind of just scary part with any relationship. You have those thoughts like, does she really love me? Is she really in this for the right reasons? Am I in this for the right reasons?
Yeah.
Those are all.
Dude, it's tough, man. I
normal
constantly think about relationships too. Suicide and relationships. Those are the two. Suicide, comedy, and relationships. That's what's
you single
always on
right
my
now?
brain. I'm in limbo.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. And then it's tough when you're on the road. Being on the road is tough.
Well, you know what? So here's the thing. Being on the road is actually an easy decision if you want to get laid or not, if you want to cheat or not. And that decision comes down to this. Do you want to deal with the headache of, there's going to be two headaches, trying to get this girl to fuck you on the road, dealing with it, trying to keep it the point of like getting her there, getting her away, getting it to happen. It's all time wasted in my mind.
Yeah.
And then the headache of what if I get caught, right? So you have to decide, is this even worth it? Like, I honestly, even in my single times, like, I would not chase after girls after shows.
That's what I was going to say. It's not even worth it when you're single most of the time.
It's just not. And honestly, the times that I hooked up on the road, it was like me and the girl, first off, they scoped me out for a bit. It wasn't like immediate. I always said that I was the 3-day king. They would see me Thursday and come back. Sunday.
Take
and
the
then I
whole
knew it was
weekend to
on.
go seal the deal. Hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
they'd
even
finally
doubly not
deceive
worth it.
Thursday, they'd be like, oh man, he was cute. There's something about him. Friday, they'd reach out. Hey, that was so funny, blah, blah, blah. Saturday, they'd kind of like, so you want to go get coffee? I was like, sure. And then Sunday, okay, well, he's about to leave town, so I better make a move. You know? So it's just like, do you want to deal with the headache? And often nowadays, it's funny. I just did a gig with a comic who was like, hey man, I got that number. This girl said she wanted to hang out with you, and so I got her number for you. You know, because he was used to headliners saying, go get me numbers of girls.
I've never had a headliner say that to me.
I have.
Wow.
It's weird. It's fucking weird because it's just like, what do you want me to say? I've had the headliner, hey Nick, go
get that girl's number.
While he was
and then
selling merch and taking pictures.
And what if you come back and you're like, she didn't want to give you her number?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happens too. And it feels so fucking weird, right? So I was never into that. And so the guy approached me with this girl's number, and I was like, no, we're in Brea for one night. You want to sit around and for 3 hours with me? We got to get back to North Hollywood. You want to sit around with me for 3 hours while I try to figure this out? And then what if I do hook up? You're going to wait the extra 2? It's done. It's a Wednesday. Don't you want to get back home? Like, why would you even do this? Like, am I like, what's wrong with you? Do you really want me to just force you to wait for me to hook up?
And
like,
he's like, sure.
Yeah, like,
Whatever.
that's stupid. Let's go.
Well, I think we figured it out then.
And we had 2 other comics with us. I was like, there's 2 other comics with us. What's wrong with you?
I think we figured out no more girls on the road. You got to find someone to settle down with.
Yeah.
Take some acting classes.
Yeah.
And keep taking your natural
Well, I don't know if you got to find.
antidepressant.
I don't know if you got to find somebody to settle down with.
Or don't.
Yeah.
But maybe
you're
keep
saying
it healthy.
Me. You're saying me.
Well, I would like to, but
Yeah.
the point is to keep it healthy. Don't
Keep it very healthy.
Don't keep secrets from someone.
It can't start.
One night stands.
It
aren't
can't
worth
start
it.
on a secret because it will never flourish. Whatever you got to imagine a relationship as I'm planting a seed, and often we plant the seeds in bad soil or dark places, so the plant never flourishes properly. You honestly have to be clean, clear, and ready yourself to even attempt
work
it.
on yourself first. You got to be ready for a relationship.
And then you have a fertile soil to actually plant this seed of a relationship where you're giving an honest try. Like, I'm honestly trying to make this work. Not, hey, we hooked up and I didn't believe that I was going to like you this much. You know, it's like, let's give it an honest try. And that's where the best relationships come from. It's like, you agree, we want to do this?
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then as long as you give the honest try and everything started honestly, then the other person, that's their option to fuck it up or not. Because you're like, yo, I gave it my honest best. I did what I could. But more often than not, they won't. Because if you're both honestly doing it, it's going to work.
I'm going to try and incorporate that into my life, I think.
Yeah.
Starting
Dude, we all got to clear
today.
There you go.
Starting now, no more naughty boy Ari.
Oh, for real?
Just sweet, innocent.
You were naughty boy?
I had some naughty incidents. I'm a good guy that makes slip-ups.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm a good guy at heart.
Yeah, I think I'm that way too.
But it's
bro.
just a matter of willpower. That's my
It is.
biggest issue in my life. It's just lack of willpower.
Yeah,
You know?
mine's I say that I'm a giver, but it's selfishness.
But that's almost healthier. You want to take care of yourself first.
Well, you know, and I
someone who
made that.
sends all their money to their parents,
Yeah.
and to their
Oh,
family
and
each
then you're
month,
just stressed.
and then they're struggling with their own rent. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, it's nice of you to send money back to your family, but you got to take care of your own self first.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta pay
true.
your own rent,
You have to,
or else
especially
the
in this
issues with you.
business.
Yeah.
This business, you are the business. You are the CEO. You are your employee. Your product. In any business, and it's funny because it's even with like dentists that are starting their own practice, doctors that are starting their own. There's a certain amount of years if you want to be successful in life where you have to be selfish. It has
Yeah.
to be about you and your business.
Yeah, you have to.
You just have to.
That's just. It doesn't make you a bad person
No.
to think about yourself.
No.
It doesn't.
You just have to know, like, no, I want
When you
to
have
succeed
extra,
at this level.
When you have extra money, where you're like, I could give this person $1,000 and it will help them a lot, and it won't affect me negatively. that's fine. Give money back to whoever you want,
Yeah.
but wait till you have that extra $1,000.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug?
I got a podcast, True Scary Stories with Edie, that I do with
True.
Edie Gibson.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
we-
you guys tell scary stories.
We
each
read
episode?
scary stories and then
You
we
read?
comment on them.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And sometimes our listeners submit them.
I like scary stories. I like. I went to high school in Roswell, New Mexico,
Oh,
UFO
no.
capital of the world.
Yeah.
I like. Actually, it's funny. I don't like horror movies. They scare me too much.
Yeah.
But I like horror novels, and I
Okay.
like serial killer documentaries.
Yeah.
And I like podcasts about
Yeah,
scary
I'm
stuff.
into that stuff.
So I like that stuff, but I don't like horror movies.
I
So that
love
sounds
horror
pretty
movies.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. There
They
was a
scare me. They
point
give
that
me
I didn't.
nightmares.
Really?
I guess something about seeing it.
I guess so.
me.
I mean, it depends on which ones. Yeah, you're right. There are some that can freak you out.
Though for me, it's the ones that could be real, like
Yeah.
Saw or something, where I'm like, it's plausible that there's
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
like
yeah.
even though it's not, there's, not going to happen to me, but yeah, that's
You could
those
get
are the
thrown
ones
into a
that scare you.
situation.
or the
Yeah.
ones that are even based on real serial killers. Those
Yeah.
ones scare me the most.
Yeah, I get you.
All right. Well, thanks for doing the podcast.
No problem, man. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You're listening to
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.